President Trump has made clear he's enjoying the sweeping power unique to his office, the power to pardon. Today, he said just as much, and now says he has more names in mind. Watch this.
There will be more pardons. I thought Alice yesterday was beautiful. I thought Jack Johnson, which was recommended by Sylvester Stallone and some great boxers, I thought Jack Johnson was a great one. I'm thinking about somebody that you all know very well, and he went through a lot, and he wasn't very popular then. And he wasn't very popular then. No, I'm not thinking about O.J. But he's not, only you could say O.J. But he was not very popular then. His memory is very popular now. I'm thinking about Muhammad Ali. I'm thinking about that very seriously.
Seems like maybe that wouldn't be a controversial pick. Something many would celebrate if it weren't for one thing. Muhammad Ali doesn't need a pardon at all. The Supreme Court overturned his conviction of dodging the draft back in 1971. Ali's attorney put out a statement saying that, essentially, there is no conviction from which a pardon is needed, he wrote. Beyond that, the president is looking to combine two of his passions, his power to pardon and his attacks on football players kneeling in protest during the national anthem.
We have a great country. You should stand for our national anthem. You shouldn't go in a locker room when our national anthem is played. I am going to ask all of those people to recommend to me, because that's what they're protesting, people that they think were unfairly treated by the justice system. And I understand that. And I'm going to ask them to recommend to me people that were unfairly treated, friends of theirs or people that they know about. And I'm going to take a look at those applications. And if I find, and my committee finds that they're unfairly treated, then we will pardon them or at least let them out.
Joining me right now, CNN's Dana Bash, CNN's Chris Cillizza, and CNN political commentator Mark Lamont Hill. Mark, on just where the president left off, he wants professional football players he's been attacking and saying some of them should be thrown out of the country to now suggest who he should pardon. What do you make of this?
Some solid logic there. Even if we were to ignore the fact that Muhammad Ali doesn't need a pardon, Muhammad Ali was castigated for protesting, for resisting, for using his athletic position to resist law, practice, and custom. So it's sort of ironic that he wants to pardon Muhammad Ali, however erroneous the logic is, at the same time that he wants to beat up on the NFL players for doing the same thing. I don't even understand why he would want to do that. But the other thing is here, he's mischaracterizing the NFL players' point. The NFL players' point isn't that some people are being unfairly treated by the system. It's not about individual acts of mistreatment. It's about structural inequality. It's also about state violence, people being killed by law enforcement. So right. you can't pardon someone who's dead. You can't break out the Ouija board and fix it. Instead, you have to have structural readjustment, and you have to have a change of laws, and that can't happen by fiat.
You know, I think that's, first of all, the contradiction there is something, frankly, it didn't occur to me until you said that, and that's kind of genius, that it really is ironic. Yeah. But I actually think that there might be something to what the president has offered, because what he is trying to say is you're protesting with your actions, with your celebrity. Let's use it for good, from his perspective, like Kim Kardashian did. But maybe if the NFL players take that as an opening to, kind of give him some names, but then ask for a meeting a la Kim Kardashian and talk to him about some of those structural issues that Lamont was just talking about. Maybe this is an opening. I want to be an optimist here, because this is clearly an area where the president understands he got good press and should have, because he did something good that universally was considered so. And that maybe this is an avenue that he can continue down and make it into a broader policy change.
And Chris, I just can't get off this point of the president and Muhammad Ali. I mean, so he was misinformed about what the state of play was with regard to Muhammad Ali? I mean, how could this happen?
Short answer, I don't know. Longer answer, he did mention he's looking at thousands. He said 3,000 potential pardons. Possible he confused some details here or there. Possible he got bad legal advice. Yes, all of the above. I do think one thing that we know about Trump, he said, I love the presidential pardon. It's a wonderful thing.
The power to pardon is a beautiful thing.
Right. So we know that he likes that for at least a couple reasons. One, because he can just do it. Right? There's no Congress to get involved. There's no Democrats. There's no Republicans. Just him. And second, because I think it does appeal to his desire to be that guy in the apprentice boardroom where you think he's going to fire someone and he saves them. You know what I mean? That he is the beneficent. He is the one person who did this when Obama couldn't do it. He certainly mentioned that with the Jack Johnson pardon. So I think it appeals to a number of sort of things we already know he likes. So my guess is take him at his word. You're going to see more pardons, and my guess is more pardons of very famous people, although not Muhammad Ali because he didn't need one.
To count that one in the victory and check that one off, I guess. Mark, what do you think of what Dana said, though? Think about this like in a real. Could you see this as a real opportunity? If this is something that he likes, regardless of the motivation, he likes the power to pardon, where folks who care a lot, care so much about criminal justice reform could get something?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to confuse pardoning individual people with criminal justice reform.
Totally.
Right.
Look, there are 2.3 million people in prison right now. I would love to see even one of them come home, and we saw that last week. So sure, it's a step forward, but I don't want to confuse those two things. I think it's important for us to have a deeper conversation about law, about structure. But yeah, if we can get a few people home from meeting with President Trump, meet with President Trump, get a few people home, I think that's our duty.
Yeah, what Marcus Jenkins was not protesting as someone who's in jail necessarily. He's been protesting all along police brutality and racial injustice, which is not something you can fix with pardon.
No, that you can't fix that with a pardon. You need structural things. So what I would have preferred to see is him say, hey, let's continue to end privatization of prisons. Let's continue to get rid of pretrial bail. 80% of people in American jails are there because they don't have the money to be home. These are things that we can structurally fix by fiat.
No question. But if he gets, if some of these players get an audience with him, they can impress that upon him. And that does tend to have, in one-on-one or, in person sessions, that does tend to have an impact. I just have to say, it's been a long week. I called you Lamont, Mark. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
At least we're talking to each other. That seems to be progress in this day and age. Great to see you, Dana Bash. Great to see you guys. Really appreciate it.